The Prime Minister of Mauritius, who also holds the portfolio of Finance and Economic Development, presented the 2019-2020 budget on 10th of June under the theme of embracing a brighter future together as a nation. This was also the last budget of the current government, as general elections are anticipated either by the end of this year or early next year. The budget contains some interesting measures relating to financial services, taxation, and business facilitation. First of all, the budget provides for measures to expand the accessibility of our existing products. For example, there will be a new framework for fund administration and fund management that is going to be introduced. The special purpose fund that had been introduced a few years ago will be revamped in order to make it more attractive. And last but not least, the FSC will be entering into an agreement with the Gujarat International Financial Centre so that Mauritian funds and management companies would be recognized to operate in the GIFC. The budget also looks at diversification of the current product base. For example, interestingly, REITs will be introduced by way of legislation. There will also be an umbrella license for wealth management activities that is currently being regulated by the FSC and the Bank of Mauritius. A headquartering e-commerce activity scheme has also been mentioned. There will also be a framework for green finance and a new platform which will be introduced at the Stock Exchange of Mauritius to allow medium-sized enterprises who are not able to list either on the primary or secondary market to raise capital. One of the very interesting measures of this budget is in respect of the creation of a single window system that will be set up at the FSC in order to allow for the submission of applications. As you may know, currently for global business licenses, applications must be lodged simultaneously with the ROC and the FSC. The single window system will enable those licenses to be submitted at one point of call, namely the FSC. Hopefully that will reduce a lot of delay in the application process and thereby make Mauritius an even easier place to do business. A number of measures have also been, will be introduced to make Mauritius a FinTech hub. For example, regime on robotics and artificial intelligence, new license for FinTech providers, introduction of e-signatures and e-licenses on a pilot basis, as well as crowdfunding as a new licensable activity. There will also be several enhancements to the regulatory framework. For example, a financial crime commission that is going to join all the different organizations that are involved in combating financial crime will be joined into that commission. There also will be a financial data handling code to address cyber risk that has become more and more important. And last but not least, there will be a number of practice notes that will be issued by the three regulators, the Bank of Mauritius, the FIU and the FSC, in order to bring more certainty. A number of measures will be introduced in respect of tax as it relates to financial services. First of all, the industry was very relieved that the concept of POEM, Place of Effective Management, that was introduced last year will be removed and that the test for residence of companies will be central management and control. Secondly, the substance requirements that were introduced by way of an FSC circular last year will be given statutory force. A number of measures have also been introduced to deal with the concerns that were raised by the European Union recently on our tax framework. For example, there will be conditions on the outsourcing of core income generating activities. And most importantly, there will be the introduction of a CFC rule in our income tax legislation. It is also very positive to note that government has agreed to representations made by the industry to extend the scope of the partial exemption so that income from many more activities will now be allowed to benefit from the partial exemption. And finally, in order to further position Mauritius as a FinTech hub, there are going to be measures in respect of headquartering of e-commerce activities and also the upgrading of the regulatory sandbox license framework that has worked very well up to now, but government wants to make it more appealing to investors. In conclusion, this budget, similar to the one of last year, was expected to be a perilous exercise, but the Prime Minister seems to have stricken a right balance, namely to ensure that Mauritius remain compliant with international standards, whilst continuing to deepen and diversify our product offering. The introduction of new products, coupled with the focus on financial technology and innovation, will hopefully pave the way for a new era for a financial services sector that will henceforth be based on the breadth and depth of its service offering rather than on tax arbitrage.